Hi guys, it's Reagan and welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm so looking forward to. It is a type of video I feel like I have not filmed in years, mostly because I have no patience, but because I did a lot of traveling recently. I've had a build up of boxes, and today I'm going to be doing an epic unboxing book haul. Not only did I buy too many books over the past month or so, but I also had a few gift cards burning a hole in my pocket, so I did some online book shopping, which I generally really don't do much anymore. I try to do more in-person book shopping, but you know, gift cards. What do you want me to do? If I have a gift card to any general store, I'm always going to buy books with them. It's just a rule of thumb that always exists. But that's right, I have an entire pile of boxes and bags over here to unbox. I also have my trusty opening device. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Of course, the first set of books I am gonna unbox are the June Book of the Month Selects. As a Book of the Month partner, and they are also sponsoring a part of this video, I do get sent all of their selects every single month, which is always a bit like Christmas, if I'm being honest. But let's go ahead and open these up. I do feel like I have exercised quite a bit of restraint not looking at these yet, so we'll look at them together. Always important to cut away from yourself, you know? Just a friendly neighborhood book safety tip that I'm not following. Ooh! Okay, wait. Okay, before we dive into the books themselves, first a little more information about Book of the Month itself. Book of the Month, if you're not familiar, is an online bookish subscription service. Every single month they curate a selection of books from a variety of different authors, genres, and voices in the community and send them directly to your door. It always comes in this really cute blue box, so you can have your own bookish unboxing every single month as well. An exciting announcement is that Book of the Month has actually released a new podcast where the Book of the Month editor team chats with an author about books. There's 2 episodes already out now, which you can download via Spotify or Apple Music. And of course, if you guys are interested in checking out the subscription, I have an offer code. If you use the code PRUSEPROJECT, you're able to get your first box for only $9.99. And with the titles always being new releases and always hardcover, that is a steal. But let's go ahead and go through all of the books that arrived, and we'll chat about my personal favorites that immediately call out to me. So the first book I see at the top of this box is The Lifestyle by Taylor Hahn. And we have what looks to be a thriller, which is The Lies I Tell by Julie Clark. And then we have another beautiful cover, and that is Woman of the Light by Kelly Ferrado Anastine. Oh my gosh. Then we have one of my most anticipated releases. Book of the Month has been killing it with the fantasy releases recently. That is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have this. And then lastly, it looks like we have another summer thriller, which is Things We Do in the Dark by Jennifer Hiller. So the first Book of the Month title I'm most excited about has to be Stardust Thief. This is a new fantasy release that basically follows our main character Loli, and she is a thief, and alongside with her djinn bodyguard, she basically steals and sells illegal magic. At the beginning of this book, she's kind of forced by a very powerful ruler in the land to go on an impossible quest to find this magic lamp. To prevent herself from being executed, she's basically forced to accept this job. She travels with not only her bodyguard, but also one of the Sultan's sons, part of this notorious group of 40 thieves. This is set in a world where reality and magic really begin to blur, and our main character has to also confront and decide her own destiny. From djinn to magic to secret pasts, I can't wait to pick this book up. Next up, I have The Lifestyle, and honestly, this book sounds hilarious. This is said to be part glitzy Manhattan fairy tale, part homage to Jane Austen, and follows a woman who dives headfirst into the Manhattan swinger scene in hopes of saving her own marriage, but ultimately kind of finds herself meddling in everyone else's. The setup of this sounds really funny. I love that it has Jane Austen ties, but obviously has a more modern New York setting. I'm curious about this. And then the last book I'm so excited to have is Woman of the Light, and this is said to be a dazzling multi-generational tale. It follows 5 generations of one Chicano family set in the American West. This is said to be a story about survival, family secrets, love, and fate, and the author is also a National Book Award finalist, so I already know their writing is impeccable. I feel like this is going to be a really impactful and moving option. Okay guys, that is an overview of the June selects for Book of the Month. Again, I'll have a link to their site as well as my discount code down below, but let's move on to the next box of books, shall we? So again, I had some gift cards. cards, which is always dangerous and also really exciting because I feel like it's fun to buy books like in the moment, but when they arrive, like opening them is almost as great as reading or buying them. There's just so many stages to enjoy, you know? Funny, I bought some of these books so long ago, I forgot I bought them, but opening this, there's 2 hardcover books that chef's kiss, I can't wait. The first book is When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill, who wrote a middle grade book, The Girl Who Drank the Sun, which I loved so much. The writing, just everything about it just feels like a true classic. So when I saw that she released an adult fantasy story with one of the most unusual premises, it was like an immediate buy, immediate add to cart, needed to have. Plus this cover, extraordinary. So this is a story that follows our main character, Alex. And Alex lives in a world that is much like our own, except for one very significant event, and that is the mass dragoning of 1955, which resulted in thousands of wives and mothers to sprout wings, grow scales, turn into a dragon literally overnight, leaving a fiery trail of destruction and all of them taking to the skies. Was it their choice? Did someone do something to these women? And what happens to those who are left behind? Why did Alex's beloved aunt turn into a dragon, but her mother was left behind? No one has any answers to these questions. But Alex herself must also face and bear the consequences of this event, regardless, with no one really understanding its origin, from her mother becoming more overprotective, to her father being absent, to the overall suspicion that results in one of your family members suddenly turns into a dragon overnight. This is said to be a really fascinating speculative novel by this author, who I already know. I love their writing style. It's such an intriguing premise, and obviously it's clearly a stand-in for something else. I feel like this is going to be a book that's really going to get me thinking, and I do love the fantasy component of this and how it's likely going to be used. So this is a book I'm really excited about. The last book that's in that box is a very exciting new release, and that is Electra by Jennifer Saint, who is known for Aradine. I feel like I'm constantly saying that book title wrong, which I have not read, but I really want to read, and I do feel like I'm just adding to my ancient Greek retelling pile. But when I saw that she released a new book, I couldn't say no. The cover is also incredible. I love the orange. And this is a story about 3 women bound in prophecy and also bound in a curse. It is set, I want to say, in part during the Trojan War, and follows 3 women who are kind of all distinctly attached to one very famous Greek hero, Agamemnon. First, we have his wife, Clytemnestra. Then we also have Cassandra, who is a prophet. Lastly, we have Clytemnestra and Agamemnon's daughter, Electra. And all of these women are kind of bound to fate and this curse in very different ways, taking place on the backdrop of the Trojan War itself. I've heard such good things about Jennifer Saint's writing. I love a retelling. I saw that this came out. I quickly snatched it up again because gift cards. Here we are. Next, we have a bit of a smaller package that doesn't require a knife, so oh yeah. Oh yes, I recall. I have gotten so many comments about this book. I've been seeing this book everywhere. I feel like it is the perfect reading vlog read, and that is Legends and Lattes. This book just sounds truly delightful. I know this recently got picked up by a publisher, and I think it's going to be re-released with a new cover, but honestly, I found this cover to be very charming. It really feels like an ode to like classic fantasy paperback vibes, and for that, I really do appreciate it. But this is said to be like a cozy fantasy story. And honestly, put cozy in front of any genre and I'm interested, but especially cozy fantasy. This follows our main character, Viv, and she is looking to cash out of a warrior lifestyle. She's tired of slinging steel around. She has made a name for herself. She's defeated enough enemies. She's looking to settle down and open up a town's very first coffee shop. However, her dreams of a fresh start, of pulling shots instead of swinging swords, are hardly a sure bet, as old frenemies enter her life once again. This is truly about an old warrior opening a coffee shop in a fantasy landscape. Legends and Lattes. Incredible concept, incredible. I laud the author purely for the idea alone. I've heard really good things about this. I'm looking forward to reading it. I feel like I'm going to love it. All right, next up we have another box. I think this one has a few books in here. It feels pretty heavy, but only one way to find out. Please don't criticize my box opening skills. I'm aware it could use some work. So anyway, Oh yeah! This is like the fairy tale box. Every book in here is like a fantasy retelling, and I'm so excited about it. The first is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. When I read The Daughter of the Forest, which is a book I absolutely love, I got a lot of comments about how if I enjoyed that book, I should check out this newer release as well. And listen, I'm always here for a reimagined retelling of any type of legend, so say no more basically. Plus the cover of this is truly stunning. And the tagline of this book is, "Don't chase fate, let it chase you." This follows our main character. Her homeland has been ravaged by storms for generations, and her people believe the sea god, once their protector, has now turned on its people, and they think that the only way to appease this god to protect their home is to actually give the god sacrifices of young maidens sent to the sea. Many believe that Mina's older sister will finally put an end to their suffering, as she is the most beautiful maiden in all of the town, so she is chosen to be sacrificed to the sea next. But something goes wrong during the night of the sacrifice, as Mina's brother actually goes into the sea to try to save their sister, but fearful that she is about to lose both of her siblings, Mina decides to replace her brother as well. Swept away into the spirit underworld of the sea itself, Mina searches the spirit realm for the sea god, trying to not only save herself, her family, but her town. This book honestly just sounds entrancing. I love a book kind of set in the spirit realm, especially associated with the ocean and like that sort of force. I'm hoping this is lyrical and dark and enchanting. I hope it also lives up to the expectations I have based on the cover alone, but I'm so excited to have this. And then the last two books in that box actually go together and shouldn't be too much of a surprise. The first is Son of Shadows by Juliette Marillier, and then the other is Child of the Prophecy. And yes, obviously, based on how much I loved Daughter of the Forest, I knew I immediately needed to get books 2 and 3 of this trilogy so I can continue on with it. I do know that based on the arc of Daughter of the Forest, which was very much a whole and complete story, the later books in this series follow other characters, with book 2 actually following our main character Sorsa's daughter and her journey, but I'm sure it's going to be full of the same magic and lore. Just a beautiful nature setting, which we received in book 1. I also am expecting these to be emotional. I'm curious to see how the rest of the trilogy will unfold, but the Daughter of the Forest series, I suppose let's call it, very much a cottagecore-esque story. It has such beautiful landscapes kind of at the heart of it, and at least what I assume is going to be each book is going to center a different female main character as they have to go on a quest to save what is important to them. I loved the first one. It absolutely moved me. New favorite book of all time, so I obviously grabbed books 2 and 3 to add to my shelf. I feel like I'm going to be getting to these books very soon as well. All right, moving on to the next paper package, another more easier open. So satisfying every time. But I'm pretty sure I know what these are. Yes, another series I have recently fallen in love with. I basically bought these right away when I realized I had a bit left on that gift card. And that is first The Story of a New Name by Elena Ferrante and Those We Leave and Those Who Stay, which are book 2 and 3s of the Neapolitan series, which is actually a quartet, but I decided to exercise some self-restraint and just buy the next 2 books in this series. But I honestly fell in love with the first book, which is My Brilliant Friend. It moved me. It was absolutely engrossing. The writing style, the setting, just everything about it just shook me to my core. Needless to say, I need to know the next chapter of these 2 women's journey, and just how the story is also being told to us is just amazing. But the Neapolitan series is set in Naples. The first book opens in the 1950s, and the story itself is recounting the lives of 2 girls and best friends, Elena and Lila. The story itself is told from Elena's point of view, and she's telling it from the perspective of the future. Structurally, the books are written with very short, almost staccato like chapters. You're kind of thrown into the mix and you just quickly have to figure out your bearings. But the dynamic nature of the female friendship that's present in this is just incredible, from the dialogue to just the whole range of emotions that are explored when you have such an intimate relationship with someone else. It was just something I really appreciated. First book follows the girls from elementary school through high school, and I'm pretty sure these later books are going to chronicle chapters of the next era of their life. But I loved, again, book one. I needed to get the next books in this series, so I went ahead and grabbed them. I also really love these covers and these spines. Truly feel like they're just such a vibe. So anyway, grabbed these. Obviously a must buy. And the unboxing book haul is coming to an end, and the last book I actually have to show off is not in a box. I did buy this book in person, as you do, and that is The Traitor Baru Cormorant by Seth Dickinson. This is the first book to a sci-fi trilogy I've just heard really good things about. Particularly my old coworker who was really into sci-fi and fantasy told me about this series initially and really sold it to me, so I finally picked it up, and I'm sure I'll send him an email once I actually get to it. Honestly, when you read over the synopsis of this book, it sounds incredibly intense, which I feel like and know that it very much is, but also structurally how this book is put together, I also hear is very unique, also very literary for the sci-fi space. But this is said to be a fascinating tale of political intrigue and national unrest, and it specifically focuses on colonization and kind of the rewriting of culture. And the synopsis reads, tomorrow on the beach, Baru Cormorant will look up from the sand of her home and see red sails on the horizon. The Empire of Masks is coming, armed with coin and ink, doctrine and compass, soap and lies. They will conquer Baru's island, rewrite her culture, criminalize her customs, and dispose of one of her fathers. But Baru is patient. She'll swallow her hate, prove her talent, and join the masquerade. She will learn the secrets of the empire. She'll be exactly what they need. Will claw her way high enough up the rungs of power to set her people free. I hear this book is just so intense. I also really love a politically focused sort of sci-fi fantasy tale, and I for sure feel like we're going to get that with this. NPR has literally said this book is breathtaking. I'm going to take their word for it. Of course, I bought it. Hey guys, that is my epic book unboxing book haul. Let me know down below if you enjoyed this format. I'm happy to try to show some self-restraint in the future and keep all of my books and unbox them with you, and we can do it together. So just let me know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Goodbye.